Deepak Rajmohan, co-founder, GreenPod Labs. Food waste is a big economic loss for India. GreenPod solution reduces such waste by extending the shelf life of fruits and vegetables. Deepak's startup uses natural plant extracts and nanotechnology to help fruits and vegetables activate their natural defense mechanisms and thereby staying fresh longer. Choosing a much less traveled path, Deepak did his master's degree in food sciences from the Oklahoma State University. Deepak Rajmohan, GreenPod.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. Good to be here. I think, as mentioned, I wanted to share about the story and the inflection points what we had throughout this last 3-4 years of building this company. So I'll start from why I started, right? So I believe like if you are passionate about the problem and that is what should drive you forward to build a company, not the technology or the solution part. So I've personally been connected with food waste, food loss for a long time. Be it in India or US, I've always been passionate about this problem and no one has addressed it. So US, I worked on a couple of projects on food waste, food losses in food industries. That just got me deeper in trying to understand what this problem is all about. I got several data points, like statistics all over the place, saying that India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables, still about 40% is lost. Not just India, majority of other developing countries, there's a significant amount of losses. And it just sounds so rosy and the problem seems to be so big. And that's what excited me to quit the job in US and move back to India. But I think quickly when I moved back to India, so I follow a principle of like design thinking where you need to be closer to the customer and that's what you understand what the problem is. I started doing that. So I had all these ideas saying that so we don't have cold storage in India. That's the reason why there's a lot of losses. So if you build cold storage, you should be able to solve the food waste problem and it's all done. So that was my mindset. It was very naive to think. So I traveled for about 3 months across different villages in Tamil Nadu. Spoke from all the stakeholders, from farmers, traders, e-commerce, you name it, I would have talked with all the stakeholders. And then just quickly understood like one of the farmers, this is one first inflection point I would say. One of the farmers I was telling him like, so I'm trying to build this cold storage very cheap compared to what you have in the market. I can do this, I can do that. He was just quiet and then he said like, if you drive 15 minutes from here, you will find two cold storage which has been shut for last 3 years. It's not the access problem. It just hit me like anything. So then I understood like it's not an infrastructure, it's the cost involved for the infrastructure which is why the challenge is. And then he also mentioned that if you have cold storage, you should also have cold supply chain. So it's not just one point of storage, you need to have supply chain which can facilitate that so that the spoilage is reduced. That's when I understood, okay, so the cold storage or cold supply chain infrastructure is not going to solve this problem. Then I started working on packaging systems. So what are the different packaging systems which can be integrated throughout the supply chain and that helps reduce the spoilage. And that's when I started working on a lot of these technologies, nanotechnology and stuff. The second inflection point, which is another critical stage, happened to meet Dr. Pradeep from IIT Madras. He's one of the well-known person in nanotechnology. I was explaining about the technology, what I was working on, and it was not unique enough, just like trying to meddle around few things and talking with him. Point one, he said, like, the technology what you're talking about, there's about like 30 patents already published. And you're saying that you want to build a you're saying that you want to build a innovation company. And if there's already 30 patents in, how are you going to build a solid base from that? That was another inflection point. I was like, okay, that you have to convince the customer, but you need to also make sure that your base is stronger. That's when I got into the cycle of like, okay, so I need to start looking for innovations which is unique and also solves the problem. And that had to me the science of defense mechanism. So that was another interesting point where I was just thinking across like, okay, so how humans are interacting with the environment, what's happening. Then there's a process of immunity. Is there a way how the plant also responds that way? And that opened up a huge plethora of opportunities. There was a lot of research associated with the immunity with fruits and vegetables, but no one was translating that into actual innovation. That's a big problem in India and majority of other places. You do a lot of research, you do a lot of technology development, but nothing translated into the market. So that was a third pivotal point where I started developing products and started building the initial prototype. And then it worked. I was able to extend the shelf life. For the first product, what we developed, tomatoes, I was able to keep the tomatoes for about 60 days. I never imagined like you can keep a tomato for 60 days. That made it strong that okay, there's a unique product what you can build and it solves the problem and it does not need any infrastructure per se. So it's a scale opportunity as well. So that helped us build this product. So this is our product what we built initially. So these sachets help extend the shelf life of fruits and vegetables. So the fourth critical inflection point was like, I always believe that you need to build a strong team. It's not that you need to do everything, but you need to have solid people in place who can take the vision and then execute on day to day. So I built a solid team initially. So 2021 started building our R&D team, brought R&D director, brought in a couple of like R&D scientists, solid people. Like you cannot imagine like PhDs and postdocs and stuff. But I think there was one moment where I started focusing more on the fundraising part. Like I was like, so everything is said, the team is all done, we know where we are heading. I'll just focus on fundraising, and that's where we need to focus on. So apparently during that stage, the team lost the momentum. They were just going on circles. They didn't know what was happening. We were spending money on left, right, center, on trials, but we were not progressing on the product development per se. So we were just going on circles. And one of the team members just came to me and said, like, so I know that you were focused on something else, but it's equally important that you focus on the product right now. So your leadership is needed for us to set the direction right. So that was another key inflection point for us. Like, okay, so it's not that you build the smart people, but you also have to nudge them to the right direction. And that helped us like build our systems and process. So we brought in a lot of process into our R&D, and that helped them like, okay, this is what we are focusing on. So we brought in goal settings and all sort of things. And like you keep learning that. So it's not the team, it's also like what information you provide, what direction you provide, that helps the team form. So I think that was the fourth inflection point in how we grow. So now we are a 25 people team, and they know what they're doing. We just have weekly check-ins, and then it just progresses from there. The fifth key inflection point is like, it's not just you solve the problem, right? You develop a product and it extends the shelf life, it solves, but the customers has to buy it. That is the key step for building a sustainable company. So the product market fit, as everyone says, which is very critical in a journey of entrepreneur. That happened to us in like early part of 2022. When we developed a product for mangoes. Until then, we were just working on multiple products. Nothing really made a huge sense for the customers. We developed a product for mangoes. One of the customers, she used to send mangoes from Tamil Nadu to Delhi over a period of like 2-day train journey, and she was getting about 80 to 90% spoilage. And she literally stopped the supply chain because of that. So she started using our product, and we were able to cut that down to less than 1%. That was a significant change what we did. And then literally she sent a message early morning, 2:30 a.m. I still have that message with me. She sent all the videos what she had before, and then she said like, without a product, I cannot imagine this market. So that is where it just opened up a huge opportunity. And we have more examples of that. We help farmers from Tamil Nadu to send grapes to Malaysia, Singapore, where they've not even sent to Karnataka, leave alone outside India. So I mean, that is when, okay, so this is the inflection point. So we understood that a customer can open up a new market with a product like this, and that's where the technology works well. And that's when you build that into a sustainable business. So that's a fifth key inflection point for us. And I'm sure that we'll have more inflection points forward, and we think from this perspective of like always boil things to the fundamentals and then start looking at from it. So these inflection points are our fundamentals, and that's what helped us move to the next phase. So yeah, I think I really enjoyed last few years of my entrepreneurship. It's always a new learning. Every day you go in, go out, you are passionate about the problem, and that's what is in front of you. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Happy to.